Visit CCGCastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more. Hello and welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. Today I will talk about a World Championship 2016. So basically today I will share a top 3 winner decks from the trading card game. Basically from the junior, senior, and master division. So we'll first start with a junior, then senior, and master division recap. So basically, this was a deck that won juniors division. So the player from the Japan named Santo Sadahiro actually won with Darkrai Giratina and Garbodor deck. So this was definitely very good and a very balanced build, I can tell you that. Basically, he can control deck against Trevenants with those baby Eviltals. He can apply pressure with the Bleeding Wing, hit for 60 because they actually have weakness. And also, it has that ability to attach one energy from a discard pile to one of the benched Pokemon. So basically, all you really need to have is pretty much Eviltal and a Darkrai EX on the bench with that Dark Pool. So once you're able to set up like 4 or 5 energies in play, that's pretty much it you need. Just because you can hit for the 100. For 4 energies, you can hit for like a 20 plus 40, which 20 plus 80, which is 100, and basically that's enough to one-hit knock out any of your opponent Trevenant breaks in play. But even with 3 energies in play, Dark Pulse will do the job and basically hit for 160. But even Dark Head can hit for 160 because of that weakness. So even if Trevenant break actually have that weakness policy, then you need a lot more energies, but probably that was not the case. I didn't watch the junior finals. I watched just the senior and the master, so I cannot tell you what actually happened in the finals, but I heard from some players actually that Darkrai and Eviltal was only used in the final match. Also, Giratina with a strong ability which actually prevent your opponent Mega Evolution from attacking it, and basically with the Chaos Field you can lock those decks like a Night March and West Between Vileplume, West Between the Mega Break decks and stuff like that. But basically, since there was a Ranger in the format, Chaos Field was not that affected as it was actually before that card was released, because actually Steam Siege was legal on World Championship, so that was not that popular and strong at that moment. But basically, also Garbodor was a pretty big deal right here with Garbotoxin, because it was able to shut down our opponent's abilities in play if there was any duel attached to it. So in my opinion, one of my favorite decks for the future format definitely will be this Darkrai Giratina. I play a lot this deck and I really like it. It definitely works a lot. And it has so many combinations and chances and possibilities actually in good matchup against pretty much any other deck. But also that Garbodor was a big deal, especially against Greninja breaks, because even with Garbodor in play against Greninja, you could have pretty good matchup, because those John Water Shurikens will not be affected because of the Garbotoxin. On the other side, he ran tons of the item cards and supporter cards, as you can see, 4 Max Elixirs and actually 10 basic darkness energy. So there was a good chance actually, because you can burn quickly your deck with this Darkrai Giratina deck build, because you have Hoopa you can set up with your Shamins and drop some extra cards, discard them with the Ultra Ball. Then you can Max Elixir for energies. Basically, Max Elixir for top 6 cards. If you have 10, or if you have more than 10 energies or 10 plus energies, there is actually a very big chance, like 70%, that you're going to hit Max Elixir, and that's just ridiculously big chance actually to hit Max Elixir with 10 energies in place. So basically, with the Max Elixir, you're able to look at the top 6 cards of your deck and pretty much attach one of your energies you find there to benched Pokemon. Of course, one Super Road, so you can reshuffle any kind of Pokemon or energies back into your deck. An interesting thing that he actually just played 2 Trainer's Mails, so basically a lot of people actually play at least 3 copies, but in this deck there was only 2 Trainer's Mails, 4 Ultra Balls, and 4 V Seeker from supporter cards. There is 1 AZ, because with the AZ you can scoop up any Pokemon from play. So with it you can remove damage counters, which is very good. But also Pearl City can do the same thing. Basically, you can cut down your bench to 3 Pokemons and discard everything that you don't need. 2 Lysanders, very interesting. I actually played a few days ago with 2 copies of Lysander in this deck, and actually works pretty good. because sometimes you just don't want to burn V-Seeker for Lysander, because it's sometimes better to have maybe V-Seeker for 0-6, so you can scrap 2 or double chorus energy or special energy from your opponent Pokemon in play, and having 2 Lysanders is not that bad, but pretty much 99% of decks actually runs 1 Lysander, so that's even enough. I mean, since you have 4 V-Seekers, you can definitely run just 1 and be perfectly fine. 2 copies of N, 1 Ranger, as I mentioned earlier. So with the Ranger, you was able to remove those effects of the Quaking Punch or Chaos Wheel on the other side. Very, very good card. 4 Sycamores, of course, 1 0-6 to be able to scrap tool or special energy from any Pokemon in play. Also very strong card. 2 different stadiums, 1 Pearl City, as I mentioned it. So with the Pearl City, he was able to cut his bench space after he set up those Hoopas and Shamies down to 3, which is amazing. 1 Verse Wally, in case you need to actually increase the damage for 10 more damage. So basically, with the Fighting Fury Belt and Reverse Wall in play, you can hit for 50 with that Oblivion Wing, and even for the 100 on those Phantoms and the Trevenants, or even Trevenant Breaks, which is just a lot of damage, and it's just hard for the Trevenant actually to even manage the setup against that Yveltal Rush effect. 3 Fighting Fury Belts, 3 Float Stones, only 3 instead of the 4 Double Dragon energies, and 10 regular Darkness energies. So yeah, pretty much interesting build. It was definitely similar to my deck build. Actually, I run almost identical build by Pokemon Lane. I'm running 2 Shamies, 2 Darkrai's, 1 Yveltal, 2 Giratinas, 1 Hoopa, and 2 Trubbish with 4 Max Elixirs. But the card, in addition to that, actually, I run 4 Trainers Mails, and I'm running 2 Pearl City instead of that Reverse Wally, and I only have 5 tools and actually 2 Lysanders, where I actually replace 3 of my Fighting Fury Belts. I have 3 Fighting Fury Belts actually, and 2 Float Stones with 12 energies. 4 of them are actually those Double Dragon energies. But yeah, definitely very, very interesting build. I really like it. And yeah, it was definitely good to share with you. So let's move to the senior division so you can actually see a winner with the Mega Break. So in senior division we have a player from the Denmark. Actually, that's a country in Europe, Scandinavia. So basically he played, his name was actually Jesper Eriksson. So he played a Wesper Queen Jan Mega Break deck. That was also new to the World Championship. So very interesting deck. So in my opinion, it's pretty damn good. I mean, you have those Megas breaks who can actually hit with that Burial Break for 100. Unfortunately, weakness will not be applied with them, but they have 140 HP, which is just a tons of HP. And basically, those Megas with Sonic Vision can even hit for like free. They can definitely hit for free if you actually have 4 cards in your hand. Basically, you can ignore all energies in the attack cost of each of your Pokemon's attack. So basically, you can hit for 50 or you can hit for 120 if your opponent have any tool attached in it. So basically, with Assault Beam, he was able to knock out those Seismitoads. And basically, he played in the finals against a Seismitoad, Lugia EX, and Crobat deck. It was 2-1 for him. Definitely, it was pretty quickly game 3, so game 2 was actually a very good game, to be honest. I watched game 2 and 3, and basically that Mega was definitely a big deal because it will give actually 1 prize to your opponent and have free retreat, and basically you can hit for free, pretty much forcing your opponent to even absorb some damage from those bursting balloons. And basically in late game, being able to finish the game with the Wesper Queen Be Revenge for like tons of damage, because having those your Mega Breaks and your Mega line with even those Spinnerks and Irieros and some of the Wesper Queen and combis in your discard pile can definitely be a devastating blow with the Be Revenge in the late game for your opponent. So yeah, pretty much with 24 Pokemons, probably you're not going to be able to hit always for like 180, 190 or very big blow knockout, but definitely you can hit for free with those in megas in the early game, apply some pressure with the bursting balloon. That's the case what he actually does in the finals, and basically finish with the Westbrook win, and that's pretty much GG. So from other cards on this deck list, you can actually see just 2 copies of Battle Compressor. So a lot of people actually play 4 copies of Battle Compressors, but since this is a deck with a Mega Break, you definitely need to have more space to be able actually to put more Pokemons in play, and actually with those Mega Breaks you can hit for free. So that's the reason why you don't even need to have more than like 3 copies of Battle Compressors. Even 2 is actually good. Just of those 3 Shamans and Sycamores, you can discard pretty much tons of cards. But yeah, being able with Battle Compressor in early game, discard like 6 Pokemons and maybe 3 more with Sycamore is just enough to hit with the Beer Revenge for like 100 plus. But since there's a backup attacker and Mega Break, that's pretty much all you really need. Also 2 copies of Level Ball, so basically with them he was able to grab Combi, Westby Queen, even Spinner, Kyriados, or Yenma, which was definitely good. 1 copy of Revitalizer, basically put 2 grass Pokemon from your discard pile back into your hand, so you can in a single turn grab a full line of the Westby Queen with the double colors energy being in your hand. You can just attach double colors energy and surprise your opponent from nowhere for tons of damage, which is just insane. Of course, 1 copy of Special Charge, which will help you to shuffle 2 energy cards from your discard pile back into your deck. That's the new card from the Steam Siege, same as those at Mega Breaks. Of course, 4 copies of Ultra Ball, VA Seekers. From supporter cards, he ran 1 AZ. So AZ was good because with the AZ he was able to remove those Shames from play, but maybe even sometime those damage their Megas. I didn't watch previously games, so I know that basically for the fact AZ is here, so you can just get rid of your Shamans, but even Sky returning them is not a bad option. Of course, you need to have a copy of Judge, at least 1, just in case 1 is prized, so you can have exactly 4 cards in your hand. So he ran 2 copies of Judge. It's pretty strong card, especially if you can set up a pretty well turn 1 with your Mega. You can just judge your opponent even down to 4 cards, and being able turn 2 to apply that Sonic Boom is pretty damn good. Also 1 copy of Lysander, 2 Ents, and 4 Sycamores, which is actually 8 drop supported in total. With that AZ in theory, maybe even 9 by setting up that Shaman again. Of course, 4 copies of Forest of the Giant Plants, 4 Bursting Balloons to return those damage counters back to your opponent when he actually decide to attack you, and pretty much 4 copies of Double Colorless Energy. So very, very good deck. I really like it. I should definitely try to play with it. I didn't try Westby Queen with the Mega Break so far, but I actually make a tons of testing with the Mega Break, and it's definitely good. But having Westby Queen as a backup attacker is pretty damn good option, because playing only a Mega Break will not be that good because of that 3 energy attack cost, which is expensive for that small number of damage. But also Hex Maniac and Garbodor can definitely shut down your Mega's abilities, so you definitely need to have something like Westby Queen, and that was definitely smart shows, and congratulations on the victory. So let's move to the Master Division. And the sugar on the cake, Shintaro Ito, the guy from Japan in the Master Division with his Mega Audino EX deck, actually won a finals against Greninja Break against Cody. It was definitely unlucky for Cody because he was not able to draw pretty much anything. I watched the finals and it was definitely devastating. I'm a big fan of Greninja Break, and I actually play Greninja Break in real life. I actually even managed to get 1 time first place with it. I didn't play too many games with it, maybe like 10 or 15. Still need to practice a lot with Greninja Break deck, but it's definitely a very strong deck. I mean, I didn't play in real life too many matchups. I played like on trading card game over 100 plus for sure. It's definitely one of my favorite decks. That Greninja Break with a Grenade Hammer, the says with this Grenade Hammer, Greninja Break with those Giant Water Shurikens, and Water Shurikens can definitely be a big problem even for those Trevenants, even for those Night March decks, or even for Westby Queen decks. Even you have weakness, you can definitely win against them with those bursting balloons, because you're going to force your opponent to take 6 damage counters in exchange for prize with you, and you can just snipe with those Giant Water Shurikens and even take like 2 or 3 prizes in the 1 turn. So basically with the Mega Audino, he was able to win. Yeah, basically, Cody was not able to set up those Frogadiers on the bench and not even Greninja, so he just fight with those bubbles. But the problem was that even if he was able to get heads on the bubble, Majournia EX was on the bench for a Ito, and basically he had a Mega Odino with double Chorus Energy and Metal Energy in the active spot. So even if he get heads, he would not be able to paralyze him because of that Majournia. And yeah, pretty much very strong build. It was definitely something like a Whaler last year on the U.S. Nationals, and basically where Jason Klasinski managed to win in those U.S. Nationals. But yeah, definitely that Whaler was something new, same like a Audino, and a lot of people actually was not prepared for it. And I will assume that in the World Championship, tons of players actually played those Vespa Queen and Night March decks, and basically that Mega Audino deck was pretty much built to crush them out. So basically 220 HP, Magical Symphony, 110, and if you play supporter card, you can snipe 50 on one of your opponent banded Pokemon. And basically with Absol, you can even move 3 more damage counters from one to another Pokemon in play, and basically you can set up maybe even 2 prize or even 3 prize knockout in a single turn by just knocking out something like a Combi and Shaman, or Shaman and any kind of a Joltik, maybe even Pupkaboo, which was definitely devastating for those players who actually played those decks. But even for those who actually played Greninja Break, if they was not able to set up properly, that Mega Odino would just definitely crush them out. But I don't know how he could actually win against a deck like a Zygarde or Lucario or decks like that who actually have advantage, because Mega Odino has weakness on those fighting decks. But definitely very good. And also Do the Wave, with Do the Wave he was able actually to hit for 60 plus 10 more for each of your bench Pokemon in play, so that was also a good thing. Of course, with that Majournia, Mystic Heart, he was able to prevent those effects of your opponent attacks, like Jirachi Stardust, so his Pokemon's, his Mega Odino was not affected from the Stardust, which was definitely very good. But also, I think Quaking Punch was not affected, because it says that it's affecting your hand, so Majournia cannot block a Quaking Punch, not even Chaos Wheel, but it can block those Trevenant Silent Fear, which was also a big deal, in my opinion. And yeah, pretty much that Cobalion with Revenge Blast and Quick Guard was also even able to buy a turn maybe if it needed, or just hit with that Revenge Blast and finish the game by knocking out your opponent EX for maybe 150, 180, depending on how many prizes your opponent has taken. Of course, Hoopa ×1 for that Scoundering, and that's pretty much it with those Shames. And yeah, pretty much from item cards, he ran tons of stuff right here. So 1 copy of Escape Rope is always good to have, so that Escape Rope was definitely probably a good thing, especially to set those double hits knockout, I will assume that. He only played 1 copy of Mega Turbo, so basically being able to play 1 copy of Mega Turbo, you was able to power up your Mega Odino with a single turn by attaching double Chorus, and basically that Metal Energy from a discard pile, 1 copy of Starly Megaphone, so he was able to get rid of all Pokemon tools attached to his opponent Pokemons in play, single Super Road, 4 copies of Trainer's Mails, 4 Ultra Balls, and 4 VA Seekers. He actually played 4 copies of each, and I really like that. Which is very interesting about supporter chose. He decided to roll with 2 copies of AZ, so basically he was able to remove any Pokemon from his play with that AZ, which was definitely, I guess, good, because being able to remove something with tons of damage and preventing your opponent from drawing a prize was a good thing, but also being able to remove those Hoopas and Shaman from play, maybe even Absols, to use Cursed Eye more often to just clear the bench of your opponent Night March in play was just remarkable. I mean, just imagine your opponent had actually Shaman on the bench and Pupkaboo in the active spot. You Lysander to Shaman for 110, you spread 50 damage to that Pupkaboo, and if your opponent have Joltik and he's forced to put it down to the bench, you can just next turn play Cursed Eyes, move that 3 damage counters, maybe even again Lysander and pull like a 5 prize in just 2 turns, which was just amazing. 1 copy of Hex Maniac, of course, for those Greninjas and any other decks, like maybe even Yanmegas or any other decks who actually depend on the abilities. 2 Lysanders. Actually, he rolled with the 2 Lysander, but that's very usual for deck like the Mega Odino, who actually have the attack that requires playing supporter to being able to snipe for the 50 on the bench. 2 copies of N, 1 Central Lady who can heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions. I really like the card. 4 copies of Sycamore, of course, 1 Zero Sick in addition to remove any special card or pretty much tool in play. As you can see, this list was not have a card like a Ranger, so he just decided to roll with the 0-6. So with the 0-6, he was able to remove those special energy from those Giratinas, but basically being able to go first, probably your opponent will not be able to even power up Giratina for the turn 2. You can just start to snipe so many damage around the board that Giratina EX probably could not even use its Chaos Wheel. Of course, 2 copies of Parallel Cities, so he could get rid of those Shamings and Hoopas from the bench, so there was not easy target for opponent, but maybe even he used that often to counter his opponent bench, who knows. But it's also good and strong card against Mega Rayquazas. 4 copies of Adina Spirit Link, 2 Flowstone for the free retreat, 10 energies in total, 4 Double Chorus, and 6 Metal Energies. It was definitely a very nice World Championship 2016. Unfortunately, like the last year with the Master Finals, where actually Blastoise, RC Blastoise won in last in match 10 minutes. That happened this year in the Masters. I didn't watch the juniors, and basically seniors was definitely good matchup. And yeah, it was definitely a very new experience definitely by those new decks. So congratulations to everyone who actually played in the World Championship. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me for today. So that was the top 3 winning decks from the Masters, Senior, and Junior division. I hope you guys enjoy watching this deck list. So yeah, you should definitely try to play with them. It's definitely very good. I can't wait for those World Championship decks so I can actually order them and have them in my collection for the future play. That's pretty much all. If you have any questions, comments, don't forget to leave comments below. Or ask on Facebook. You can find me also on the Facebook. If you're looking for any of these cards, you can find them on CCGCastle.com. As always, with typing TCG Center 5 code, you can get 5% discount on your purchase. And yes, we also have those Mega Odinos, Odinos EXs, so you should definitely check that out if you actually need any of these cards. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So stay tuned for tomorrow Evil Break video, and have a nice day, and goodbye.